Hey guys, today we're talking about B-roll. What is it? Do we really need it? We're also going to have a quick look at what A-roll is, and is there such a thing as C-roll? I kind of think there is. Let's get into it and find out. All right, before we can understand what B-roll is, we need to have a look at A-roll. A-roll, B-roll, that term comes from the old film days when film was literally on a spool, on a roll, and that's where it came from. The name is just stuck. Now, throughout this video, I'm going to be using clips from another video I had done on holding the iPhone 11 in my hand. Do I need a gimbal? Or can you handhold it? So I'm using clips from that to help create this video to show you how B-roll works within the films. So A-roll, first off, is your main story. That's what the whole thing is about. Now here's a sample of A-roll from that other video I have done. And you can see it's just me sitting talking. Now, if the whole video was just like that, it wouldn't be very interesting, and I'm not the most exciting on the best of days, but without adding anything else in, it becomes very boring, very dry. It becomes like an interview style. Think of TV newscasters, talking head stuff. If they didn't add any B-roll, it gets very boring. It becomes uninteresting. Even with the world's best speaker, it gets harder to watch. So that was an example of what A-roll is. Okay, here is an example of what B-roll is. Now, B-roll is your driving force. That's what helps drive your video, your movie along. It supports the A-roll. It brings interest and keeps your viewer motivated. Now, one bonus tip to using B-roll is if you're doing your A-roll piece along and you're umming and awing, or you've got a little jump and it's not quite right and you need to edit and cut that piece out of the video. A lot of times when you try and do those cuts, the scene kind of jumps 1 minute here, next minute you're there, and it's very obvious and it's very amateurish when you have such a hard cut like that. Now, one way you can hide it is by using B-roll. So when you get up to that point and you need to chop that piece out, if you can insert a piece of B-roll, then you can hide that cut because it looks like you've just naturally talked up to that point. You've inserted a piece of B-roll and then you're back into your talking again. And you've taken out that flawed piece of video, whether it be speech or any other technical problem there. You can hide it with a piece of B-roll. So that's another good use for B-roll. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the A-roll and B-roll kind of put together. So I'm going to use that bit of a clip of me talking, then the B-roll clip of me going down the stairs with the iPhone, and then back into a talking piece. And as you can see right here, that makes it a lot more interesting when you're having the viewer giving you their main story, and then when they're referencing something, you can see it goes into the B-roll, which is supporting the video, makes it more interesting, and then you're back into the talking piece again. And it makes it a lot more interesting and gives the viewer more information, and they get a better understanding of what you're talking about. And it can really create some huge impact into it. What do you think? Well, now you can see how a piece of B-roll can help break up that dry piece of A-roll. So say A-roll is basically your talking piece. If you're out vlogging, that's you talking into your camera, and you're using the B-roll to show your area because it's supporting what you're talking about. So you can see how talking, B-roll, talking, how that broke that up. Now, I didn't mention at the beginning of the potential elusive C-roll. Is there such a thing? Well, I've never ever heard of it, but here's something for you to think about. A-roll is me talking to you right now. B-roll is me adding in a little clip, like me walking down the steps, in support of. But I was filming when I was going down the steps. So is that piece of footage from the cell phone C-roll? Yeah, something to think about. A-roll, your main story. B-roll supporting your A-roll, and C-roll, if you're filming, is what your B-roll was. So your C-roll is supporting your B-roll supporting your A-roll. Something to ponder, huh? $1 million idea there. We got A-roll, B-roll, and we got C-roll. Well, I don't know if it's really called C-roll. Everyone just basically refers to it all as B-roll. But if you look at this clip, and I'll put the little pieces all together again, so you've got your A, B, and C roll. Or if you want, A-roll, B-roll, and B-roll plus one? I don't really know, but you can see what I mean, how each one kind of supports one another. So I've kind of got B-roll within B-roll. If you don't want to call it C-roll, hey, I'm going to try and start a new trend on YouTube. Somebody created buttery smooth, I'm going to create the C-roll. But you can see what I mean. As I'm walking down the stairs, I'm filming, so that piece of footage from the cell phone is supporting the B-roll of me walking down the stairs, and the whole mess together is supporting my storyline of hand-holding an iPhone with no gimbal. Some points to ponder on that one. I think it's a really interesting kind of concept, but you get the general idea. A-roll, again, is your main story. That's your driving force. It's usually your talkie bits. The B-roll is all that really cool footage, your slow motion, your hyperlapses, your time lapses, all that really cool stuff that's supporting your talking bits. And then you can get deeper into the B-roll as we've created our C-roll to get even deeper into it. I think it's pretty cool. That's what B-roll is. That's why you need B-roll. Without it, it's very boring, very dry. And B-roll, honestly, is a lot of fun to shoot. Now, another good tip, when you're out and about and there's some good clouds, water, skies, buildings, create some B-roll for the sake of creating B-roll, and then create a folder. Now, within my photography business, I create folders, and I have, because I do a lot of composite work, I shoot stairs, paths, trees, all kinds of elements that I shoot, and it's all in different folders. So when I'm doing my composite work, I can go to those folders and pull out elements that I can use to create other images. Video works the same. You need to create a folder system with different parts of B-roll tucked into it. So you're shooting clouds for 5 minutes, waves breaking on a beach for a few minutes, traffic going down, people walking by, all that type of stuff. Create B-roll footages. That way, when you're doing video and you need to add in pieces, stock video footage is available that you can purchase and license to add into your videos. But why not simply create your own little folder system where you've got your own B-roll? And that way, you've always got a resource that you can really pump up some of your B-roll scenes and some of your videos by B-roll you created yourself. Another thing to ponder, and it's something that once I got into video, it's something I started to do because I was kind of already doing it for photography, for image composites. There you go. So that's what A-roll is, B-roll, and that mysterious elusive, which I just created, C-roll, or B+1. Anyways, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. So, until the next time.